Hello, I'm Emily. I'm the Anxious Yoga teacher, and welcome to 45 minutes of gentle yoga. Even though this video is gentle, it may not suit everybody, so it's really important to consult with a physician or consult with your doctor before you start any type of yoga practice. We will be started seating and then standing up and then going back to laying down, but we won't be going up and down a bunch throughout this practice. Hopefully I'll be releasing some chair yoga sequences at some point. But for today, it will be important to be able to get on the ground at least. That being said, I made this practice in dedication to my mom. Hi, Mom. Specifically for people who might have a lower bone density concern. This doesn't mean that it will suit everybody who has osteoporosis, osteopenia. It's important to ask your doctor again if you do have one of those conditions to make sure that this is okay. The big things I want you to take away if you're working with lower bone density is make sure you keep that spine straight. Make sure that anytime there's movement in the spine that you have to take, move slowly. Try to avoid any type of rounding of the back. Even if I cue to round your back, you might want to think twice before taking that action, and I'll try my best to cue it throughout the practice. All that being said, you'll need some yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, I have my can book assembly thing. It's quite fancy, but this will be great, especially for some of our standing postures and kneeling postures, to have that extra support. If you don't have a strap, make sure that you can use a necktie, a belt, anything that can help extend your arm a little bit. And lastly, make sure you grab a blanket for your knees, and hopefully like this video. Like and subscribe. Never thought I'd ever say that. Okay, enjoy, guys.
All right, let's get started here. We're going to be started seating, so finding a comfortable seat on some yoga blocks or books to get those hips higher than your knees to take some of the pressure out of your low back. While you're finding your seat, not caring too much about the position of the legs, letting them fall naturally, whether that be crossed, feet together, knees out wide, legs out wide, feet on the ground, whatever. See which position feels the most natural to you here. Take a few moments to find that. And allowing your hands to be down on your knees for a little bit more grounding, up for a little bit more energy, or placed gently in your lap. And give yourself permission, even if you found the perfect posture, to move, fidget, and adjust as necessary. That being said, let's find the most important part of our practice, the breath. Notice how the breath moves in through the nose and out through the nose. Feel free to breathe through the mouth if necessary. Imagining the spine lengthening up towards the sky as you inhale. As you exhale, feel your sit bones press into the ground. Finding that balance of inhale lifting and exhale pressing the sit bones down. Be sure to relax the shoulders and the face, the knees, the hips. Notice if you have any lingering tension. If it's helpful, take a deep breath in and sigh it out through your mouth to let go of any muscle that might be holding on. And finally, feeling the breath in the belly. As you inhale, belly rises. As you exhale, belly falls. Keep going with that sensation. Inhale, lengthen the spine, belly rise. Exhale, press the sit bone, belly fall. Take a few more breaths here on your own before we begin to breathe together. Throughout your practice, this will be your guide to tell you if you need to go a little bit back, For example, if the breath becomes short and shallow, your body is telling you to back off of a posture. Go ahead and exhale wherever you are, let it go. And inhale for 1, 2, 3, hold. Exhale, 3, 2, 1, hold. Inhale, 3, 2, 1, hold. Exhale, 3, 2, 1, hold. And keep going with your breath, adding a number or subtracting. You are welcome to lift the arms as you breathe in and lower as you exhale, if that feels comfortable to you. On your next inhale, keep the arms raised up overhead. And notice here with your arms raised, if your shoulders begin to lift and become earrings, gently relax them back. This can be done also by widening the arms, making more of a Y shape. And take a deep breath in here. Exhale the right arm down, reaching the left arm up and over. Exhaling down the left sit bone to anchor the body, allowing the head to look up or down, whatever your neck is wanting to do today. And breathe into the rib cage as if they were gills. What in the world would that feel like? Breathe 1 breath in and out. Release. Inhale to reach back up to the sky. Exhale the left arm down this time. Right arm reaches up and over, anchoring through your right sit bone. Find the head position that feels most natural to you. And take a breath here. Wonderful. And inhaling up, back up to the sky. Exhale here. Inhale. Exhale to twist over to the right. Right arm behind the body, maybe using a block to help support you. Left arm using the knee as a brace. We want to be very careful to not use our knee to pull our body over. In this twist, we're going to inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale to use the belly muscles to twist, not our arms. Find that balance here. Inhale, tall. Exhale, belly muscles twist. Relax the shoulders and face. Take 1 more breath here. Exhale, twist. Inhale to unwind. Lift the arms. Feel the belly muscles move. Exhale to the other side. Left arm behind. Right arm in front. Inhale, tall. Exhale, twist with the belly muscles. Relax the shoulders and face. Remembering not to yank the body over. We want to protect our spine. 1 last inhale. And exhale. Inhale to unwind. Reach back up to the sky. And exhale the shoulder blades together, bringing the arms into a cactus shape. Take a breath here. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. 1 more time. Exhale, squeeze. Release. Hands come down to the knees. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, tall here. Exhale. Beautiful job, everybody. Let's move to feet together, knees out wide. Bringing the feet farther away from the body or closer, depending on what feels best for your body. Hands come to the knees or hips. Take a deep breath in, get tall. Exhale the belly button up and in to fold from the hips. Nice straight back here. If it's difficult to keep the back straight, have the hands come behind the body to press open up the chest and stay here and breathe. Find what feels best. Relaxing the shoulders and face. Take 2 breaths here. One last breath. And let it go, maybe even with a sigh. And press yourself back up. Inhale tall. Exhale here. Hands come to your knees, seated cat and cow. Inhale, look up to the sky, arc the back. Exhale, round the back, suck the belly button up and in. One more like that. Inhale up. Exhale, round. We're going to be moving to our hands and knees, doing the same movement. If hands and knees is not for you today, feel free to skip that and just stay here. Otherwise, meet me on hands and knees. Fingers spread wide underneath shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Hip-width distance apart, as if you had a block there. Inhale, the crown of the head reaching forward, nice straight back. Exhale, the belly button up and in to firm the back. Feel that again. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, firm the belly. And let it all go. Inhale, look up to the sky, dip the back. Exhale, round the back, dip the chin, press the ground away, cat and cow. And move with your breath, finding what feels best. Maybe shimmying the hips from side to side, shaking the head. The most important part here is not necessarily what the body looks like and is doing, but it's connecting the body with your breath, finding that connection. Take one more breath here wherever you are. Awesome. Go ahead and move down onto your belly. It doesn't have to be graceful. Just get there however is easiest. Beautiful. Stacking the hands underneath the forehead and bending the knees to windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Make sure to move slowly here if you have any spine issues. Take a breath. Release it down. Let the feet come down and zip up the legs. Hands come underneath the shoulders, forehead on the ground. Inhale, imagining the spine lengthening. Exhale here. Inhale up just the chest, baby cobra. Press the feet into the ground. Exhale, lower. Keep going. Inhale up chest. Exhale, lower. One more. Inhale up the chest. Stay here. Hug the shoulder blades back. Neck long, spine long. One last breath. Exhale, release. Staying here or stacking the hands once again and windshield wipering those legs. And release. Coming into Sphinx pose. Elbows underneath shoulders. Fingers spread wide. And allowing the spine to be long here. With every inhale, lengthening. Exhale, press through the pubic bone. If you feel any pinching in your back whatsoever, please come out of this posture and stay on your belly. If your neck is bothering you, you can gently release the head down. Otherwise, breathe into your long neck. One last breath here. And let it go. Stack the hands, windshield wiper if that felt good. And release. Slowly begin to press yourself up and back. Hips come to heels. Grabbing a block for your forehead to relax it onto the ground. arms long in front of you or by your side, child's pose. If you don't need the block and you can have a little bit more round in the spine, you can remove the block. Otherwise, keep the block in place to reduce the amount of curvature of your spine. Breathe here. Imagining the hips melting towards the heels with every breath. And release. Grabbing both of your blocks now to come onto hands and knees, but lifted in your hands, and bringing the right foot forward for a low lunge. First, checking to make sure that both legs have a 90-degree angle, checking that back foot to make sure it's pointing directly behind you. And if you like where you are, stay here or walk the front foot forward and relax deeper for a more intense stretch. Wherever you are, inhale tall. Exhale, press through the feet, knees. Gentle tuck of the belly if the low back is bothering, or come out of this posture. Find the breath, breathe. And releasing, straightening your front right leg. It does not have to be completely straight. You can have a little bend in it. Once again, walk yourself up with your blocks. Inhale tall and exhale to hinge with the hips to stretch out your hamstring. Once again, if this is difficult, stay upright and just breathe. Flexing the front toe for a little more engagement. Shimmy the hips from side to side gently to explore some of the other muscles if you feel adventurous today. And take one last breath in and let it go. Stepping the feet, knees back together. Shake it out for a moment. Take a breath, reset. And bring the left leg forward this time. We are definitely not symmetrical people, so if you find you can go deeper or not as deep on this side, that's okay. Give yourself permission to be who you are. If you need to walk your left foot forward to increase the angle of the back leg, feel free to. Check the back foot, make sure it's pointing directly behind you. That being said, inhale tall. Exhale here. Relax the shoulders and face. Gently tuck. Alexa's talking to me. Gently tuck the belly if the low back is giving you some problems. One last breath here. And release. The left leg comes forward to straighten out. Remember, it does not have to be completely straight. Flex the left foot to have a little bit more engagement. Staying here, inhaling tall, or exhale, belly up and in to fold forward with those hips, remembering to keep a nice straight back. If you want to explore some of those other muscles, you can gently rock the body from side to side. Breathing, noticing if you have any tension stored anywhere. One last breath here. And let it go. Return the knees together and take a quick child's pose, grabbing that block if necessary, and allowing the arms to relax by your side or long. Take 2 breaths here. Release. Finally, let's come to standing. Get into a standing posture, however is most convenient for you. Make sure that your blocks are handy towards the top of your mat for easy access. Otherwise, stand anywhere on your mat that feels comfortable. Checking in with your feet, seeing if the feet can be hip-width distance apart. That's about 2 fists away. If you need to, widen your stance for a little bit more stability. Lift your toes, feel the big toe mound, pinky toe mound, center of the heel, press into the ground. Keeping that pressure, slowly release the toes. We've probably locked out our knees, so give them a little bend. Lift up through the belly, roll the shoulders back, crown of the head lifts towards the sky. Take a few breaths here, letting this feel a little bit more natural. Inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to press through the feet. One more. Exhale through the feet. Add the arms to connect the breath with the body here. Inhaling up. Exhale, press. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Make it a nice big breath. Beautiful. Release the legs out wide. Letting the feet be parallel to each other and parallel to the backs of the mat. Hands at your hips. And turning the right foot out. Left foot parallel to the back of the mat. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale to bend the right knee over the right ankle. See if you can see your right big toe. And staying here with your hands on your hips opening up to the side, or give yourself a hug in the center with your elbows. Inhale up the arms. Exhale to press the arms long by your side. Keep going with your breath. Relaxing the shoulders. Pressing the arms down as if they were pressing into giant marshmallows. Staying here or flowing with the breath. Inhale, straighten arms and legs, reach. Exhale, press the legs, arms down. Inhale, up. Exhale, press. Last one. Inhale, up. And exhale, press the arms down. One last breath, relax the shoulders and face. Gaze over the front arm or just in front of you. And release, shake it out, forget it ever happened. Hands come to your hips once again, inhale tall. Exhale the left foot out this time. Right foot stays parallel to the back of the mat. Inhale tall. Exhale the left ankle over the left knee. See if you can see your left big toe. Take a breath in to lengthen the spine once again. Exhale through your feet. Stay here or give yourself a hug around the elbows. Inhale to lift the arms up overhead. Exhale to press the arms down long. Relax the shoulders. Once again, breathe. Staying here, flowing with me. Inhale, straighten arms and legs, lift. Exhale, press it down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Last one. Awesome. In this Warrior 2 pose, feel how strong you are. Feel how stable you are. Even if you're wiggling around, that's okay. Take one last breath here. And release. Beautiful. Hands come back down to your hips. Feet parallel to the mat. Take your hands to heart center. Let's connect back with our breath. Inhale, open the arms out wide, chest opens up. Exhale, pinkies together, dip the chin round the back. Inhale up. Exhale down. One last one. Exhale down. Beautiful. Stepping the feet together and coming into our balancing section, grabbing a chair or finding a wall so that you can have a little bit more stability. And whenever you've found that wall or something to help you balance, let's come back to our standing position. Feet hip-width distance apart. Bend the knees if you've locked them out. Belly, chest. Inhale tall. Exhale, pressing through both feet. Placing one hand on the wall, the other hand on your hip. Bringing your weight towards the wall. Inhale tall. Exhale the weight completely in to the other foot. Lifting the outside leg, bringing it up into 90 degrees stork position. Flexing the lifted foot. Imagining someone was trying to press your leg down and you're trying to keep it lifted as best you can. Breathe. With every inhale, getting tall. With every exhale, press the standing foot down and the knee up towards the imaginary hand. Keeping that foot flexed, breathing. If you fall or lose your balance at any time, just shake it off and laugh. I've been there for sure. And release. Staying here for a second, breathing. And coming into tree pose on this side as well. One hand on the wall, other hand on your hip. Inhale tall. Exhale the weight towards the wall, turning the outside foot so that it places on the ankle or the shin. Inhaling tall. Exhale through the standing leg. Bent leg presses into standing leg. Feeling that counterbalance. If you feel very stable in your tree, you can begin to lift one arm or both arms. And remember, if you're a tree in a hurricane, that is okay as well. The most important part is that we keep with our breath. Always find it, even if it runs away from us. One last breath. And let it go. Other side. Switching your grip on the wall, we're going to take the same postures. Inhale tall. Exhale the weight towards the wall. Outside leg lifts into 90 degrees stork pose. Flexing the outside foot. Imagining an imaginary hand pressing into your leg. Trying to make you press it down, but you're not going to let it. You're going to press it back up. Breathe. Challenging your balance at any point it feels right, or relying a little bit more on the support of the wall. Breathing. One last deep breath here. Release. Beautiful. Finally, tree pose. Rolling the shoulders back. Inhale tall. Exhale the weight towards the wall and turning the outside foot so that it is placed on the ankle or shin. Finding your stability here. Remember that we are not symmetrical creatures, so you might feel like you rock one side, but the other one might be a little bit more difficult, and that's okay. Feeling the balance of lifting on the inhale. Exhale, bent leg presses into standing leg presses down into the ground. Taking 2 more breaths here. One last breath. And let it go. Give yourself a pat on the back for balancing. Sometimes balancing is the most daunting point of yoga, but you crushed it. Finally, your reward, let's lay down onto our backs. If you are worried about your spine, it's important to not bring those knees into your chest because it might add some extra pressure onto your spine. If you want, you can bring those knees into your chest if you're not concerned. Otherwise, set the feet down onto the ground, knees pointing towards the sky, arms long. Wherever you are, take a few breaths. And wherever you are, set the feet down, knees lifted towards the sky for a bridge prep position. We're going to take some rolling bridges here. So making sure those feet are hip-width distance apart, feet pressing into the ground, arms long by your side. Inhale to roll up the hips, reaching towards the sky. Exhale to gently place the hips down. Keep going with your breath. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, down. Last one. And on the next inhale, go ahead and lift up one more time and stay here. Imagining the chin running away from the chest, chest running away from the chin, neck long, shoulders down, relaxed. Breathe. And release. Gently windshield wiper your legs from side to side. If this is too intense on your spine, feel free to skip this. And coming back to center and finding your strap wherever it is. Looping it around your right foot and lifting the right foot up to the sky, keeping the left leg bent or releasing it long. Make sure that you're not lifting the shoulders and head up, making sure they're lying down, relaxed. With every inhale, maybe the toes come closer to the face. With every exhale, pressing the heel up towards the sky, even if it's towards the front of the room. We can imagine the toes moving towards our face, and they may not move at all, and that's totally fine. The important part is the visualization taking place. Taking 2 more breaths here. One last one, deep inhale. Exhale, allowing the leg to drift out wide. Now this might be too intense on the low back or on the inner thigh muscles or your arm. If that's the case, release and stay center. Otherwise, relax the shoulders again. Breathe. One last breath. Release. Inhale the leg back up to the sky. And let it all go. Set the foot down, bringing both feet back down onto the ground. Windshield wiper the legs here for a second. And coming back center, bringing the strap to come into the left foot this time. Inhaling the foot to the sky, keeping the right leg bent or releasing it long. Checking in with those shoulders and head, ensuring that they're relaxed on the ground. Inhale the toes, maybe come closer to the face. Exhale the heel away from you to the back of the room or to the ceiling. Feeling that connection here. constantly checking in with the breath and if any muscles are holding on. It's also sometimes good to make sure you don't have a death grip on that strap. See if you can soften that a little bit. Breathing. One last breath. Release. Bringing the leg out wide this time. Once again, honoring your asymmetry here. Breathing, relaxing the shoulders. Seeing if you're holding on to any tension. Backing off if the breath becomes shallow. 2 last breaths here. Release. Inhale the leg back up to the sky and set it down onto the ground. Feet come back to the mat. Windshield wiper those legs from side to side. Before we move on to some gentle twists, we're going to take a figure 4 stretch. If you are concerned at all with your spine, make sure that you keep one foot on the ground at all times. That being said, inhale the right foot up to the sky. Exhale the right ankle over the left knee. Flexing your right foot. Imagining your right hip opening up with every exhale. Breathing. Staying here or bringing the left knee into the chest. Remember, avoid this if you have spine concerns. Imagining with every exhale, your breath is massaging out your right hip. Two last breaths here. Releasing when you're ready, lifting the right leg back up to the sky, set it down. Inhale up the left leg. Exhale the left ankle over the right knee, flexing the left foot gently, imagining the left hip opening up with every exhale. Breathing. If you need more, bring the right leg in towards your chest using your arms, making sure the head and shoulders is still relaxed on the ground. Two last breaths. And release, setting those feet down, grabbing a block or 2 blocks, windshield wipering your legs from side to side, gently allowing the legs to fall over to the right on your blocks or onto the ground. The higher your blocks, the less intense of a twist this will be. If you want, you can roll completely over to one side and peel the chest open. Play around with it if you feel comfortable to see what feels best for you. We're going to be here for several breaths. Noticing how your body is beginning to let go, beginning to get heavy and slow down. Imagining your legs releasing from your feet all the way up to your hips. Nice and heavy. One last deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. Gently releasing one knee up at a time. You can gently windshield wiper here to release any extra tension. Moving to the other side, allowing your blocks to be a support for you, or letting the legs drift completely down to the ground. You can also roll completely over and peel the chest open. Wherever you are, let it all go. Feeling the body get heavy on this side, allowing the feet to release, knees let go, thighs let go, hips let go, and finally the chest and the face, everything is getting heavier and heavier. One last breath. Release. Bringing one knee up and then the other. Windshield wiper once again before finding final relaxation pose. You can stay laying on your back, or if lying on your back makes it difficult on your back, you can move to child's pose, lying on your side, or even lying on your belly. If you're here lying on your back, allowing the arms to be where they're comfortable, out wide, one on your belly, one on your chest, or any variation. Generally, the legs separate a little bit wider and the feet fall away from each other. Once again, if you find this is uncomfortable, giving yourself permission to move to a different posture. That being said, let it all go. I'm going to be leading you through a short meditation. If you would like to skip this and take a silent savasana, you can pause the video here or stop it so that you can relax in silence. Noticing where the body is in contact with the ground. Imagining those points of contact slowly sinking into the ground, as if you were sinking into warm sand. With every exhale, you sink deeper. Imagining a warm, weighted blanket begin to slowly travel up your body, encompassing your feet, ankles, shins and calves, knees, thighs, hips. Maybe on a deep breath in and a sigh out, the legs become even heavier, dead weight. Just let them go. Tracing up your spine, feeling it contact with the ground from the tailbone all the way up to the back of your head. Feeling the belly rise and fall as you breathe. Tracing up to the chest, noticing how open it is lying here on the ground, safe, comfortable. Allowing the right arm to let go and get heavy. Allowing the right fingertips to curl. Moving to the left arm, gets even heavier, allowing for the left fingertips to curl. And finally, moving up the neck to the face, allowing the tongue to release from the roof of the mouth, giving yourself space in your jaw, allowing the cheek muscles to slide down the face, and finally, the space in between the eyebrows lets go, as if someone placed their thumb there. And finally, on one deep breath in and a sigh out, the whole body relaxes and lets go. Just be here for the next several breaths. Slowly begin to feel your breath again. Wiggling your fingers and toes. Becoming aware of your body here. Lengthening the inhales and deepening the exhales. When it feels right, you can take a full body stretch and exhale the arms down by your side. Whenever you're ready, roll to either the right or the left side, taking a breath here and thanking yourself for coming out onto your mat and taking time for you. Whenever you're ready, come to an easy seat, not caring too much what that looks like, just getting somewhere comfortable. And wherever you land, hands can be down for more grounding, up for a little bit more energy. Let's take one breath here to seal our practice. Thank you so much for joining me today.